Hello, everyone. I hope everybody is staying on the upside. Today, I will be taking a look at my daily driver. I'm talking about my computer, of course, but this is usually the one that I daily use and do a few personal things on. I'm going to go over it today just briefly. I'm using Windows 11 IoT Enterprise LTSC and based on 24H2. Now, an average feller like me can't use this. Just talk about it just a minute. If it's something that you are uncomfortable of using, maybe the way that we get it to work, and if you're gonna lose sleep over it, or it's gonna bother you, or you uncomfortable with it, don't do it. That's what I tell people in life. If you're not comfortable with it, well then don't do it. I'm just showing you that this is what I use, and I will explain the reasons. But it's out there, and do your research of if it's right for you or not. I do like it better than some of the third-party debloated ones. The thing about LTSC, long-term support channel, it is debloated. You don't get all of that stuff that honestly most of us will never use that Windows put on their software. So it is a debloated, but it is Windows. It still has the defender, the firewall, the updater. All that other stuff's no good unless you update it. I saw some videos on YouTube on it, and I thought, well, that might be something that might work for me. So, okay, first of all, before any of that matters, we got to get it on here. Yeah, type in Windows 11 LTSC ISO, and I clicked on this one here. Thing about this one, you have a 90-day free trial. After that, you have to have a license to get the license. In other words, like a computer tech company or some company or a hospital or something like that, possibly will be the way that you activate it here. I don't know. I'm sure I'm wrong. I don't know if you can use like a third party license the way this is set up. I didn't know. You may can. So I didn't go this route. But anytime you are doing this stuff, if you can download from like Microsoft, if you're doing Windows, I would highly encourage to use it. But in some cases like this, I didn't know to. Okay. I went another route, and I've used these before. This is the one I actually used. Once you get this on there, you would want to install it. First, you would download it, and then you would also download Rufus, and then you would bring that up. And I've already got it, so I can't do that demo, but I have done them. You would get your flash drive that you're going to use, 8 gig or bigger, and you would want to, at the top, it should recognize it. Make sure the others are out, or at least you know which one you're going to use. When I do a flash image, I always take everything else loose from it, like other flash drives, external hard drive, or anything. To get that off, so that way you know what you're working with, and then you would bring your ISO file onto it. And let me see if I can bring Rufus up, but you might understand it just a little bit. I should already have it. No. Okay, that's cool. Okay, it should be right here. Okay, right here you did Rufus download or Rufus. And then this thing is what you would, if you own Windows, you would use this one or that one. The first, either one of them would work. Now this is what it's going to bring up. See, I was talking earlier about it would bring you flash up here, what you were going to use. You would click here and find your ISO image. When it's properly right, it will show it and it will have a green check mark here. And if you're using it on your computers, this is the setting. If not, you would want to use FAT32 on it. When you click start, it's going to, there's some choices you can make, like deactivate BitLocker and a few things are, and a few little bypasses you can make, like you normally would go through Windows. Actually, get some private settings on here. Just go through them. You'd hit start. Once this is done, you would have your flash. What you will want to do then is boot it back into the flash. If you have to go into the BIOS, or I always just bring up the menu, the boot menu, and choose what I'm going to do, and usually good. But if you don't do it, you may have to go into the boot BIOS, there where everything comes up. You know, you have to hit the F key and F12 or the F10 or the, you know, whatever number yours is. Different computers are different. Bring that up, and you may have to cut off secure boot. Just deactivate it, and bring the USB up at the top there in the little menu. Anyway, and then I think you hit F10, that saves and reboots you back into the USB. If the secure boot is not activated, you can also go into the recovery, hit restart, and it'll bring you back into a little menu that you can choose how you want it to boot up. Anyway, when it brings up the install menu, which is usually a blue background, and the install of the Windows, it will ask you English, USA, or whatever the language are, usually two. Now, when it brings it up, stop there. Don't start installing at all. What we will want to do is hit Shift and F10 to bring up the command prompt, and then you would type in on it this part together, small letters, and it would bring that up, and then you would type in list disk, and it would bring up all your disk, and whichever one you're going to install it on, like the hard drive, usually select, it will be 0. So you would type in select 0 or whatever number disk you're going to there, and hit enter, and then it would bring up that it's selected. Then you would type in clear, and of course you enter every time, and then it would say successfully clean, and then you just exit out of it. Exit and then exit again, and that'll bring you back to the install menu that you were looking at before you hit Shift and F10. And then you would go through the install. What that does, though, it cleans, that gives you a fresh install. It cleans off the old Windows or whatever's on there, or if you had a Linux or something on it or whatever, it cleans it off, and you will get a fresh install. You won't go through looking and like, my goodness, why has this took up so much space? Well, that's why we don't clear them off sometimes, and you have the old stuff on there. You can take it off afterwards, but might as well do it there. Once you get it up, you will want to activate it, because it won't be. And if you had like Windows Home or Pro, those licenses won't work. You got to have the license for what it's for. And you will be either go get the original and pay Unreal, if you've got somebody to get that for you, like a computer tech or someone that actually goes out and installs these and installs it. You would have to have someone licensed to get that key from Windows. Or there's I call them third party or bootleg keys, which is fine. They work. Which you probably, 20, $30 for them, depending on where you're looking. Or you can do it through a command in the PowerShell if you know what to put in there. I'm going to talk about that in just a moment, and I guess I find out down the road because that's how I done it. Okay, before we get into licensing the computer by using this link. Now, once again, if you don't feel right about it, don't do it, because I have some questions, which I guess I will find out later. But is this a link that maybe was leaked from Microsoft, or is this something that they may get a hold of later and maybe somehow make it not possible of using this? These are some questions you need to ask yourself. So I thought I would throw that out there before we get into this licensing today. Now we are going to look at this bottom one. This right here is the command you will pin, or it be in the link below, and put that in the PowerShell. In other words, the PowerShell is this right here, and you would, right here where it's flashing, you would copy and paste that there and hit enter, and then it would do its thing for a few minutes, and then it would bring up another little menu thing like we're looking at here, along with this, and it will have different things out through there asking you what do you want. Like one's Windows, and then other, like 3 here would be, I think maybe Windows and Office. I put Office, but you would hit 3, and then it would come back to this and do a few other things. And then the only way that I got it to work on mine was to hit all, number 5. And then just in a brief it said, and I don't remember, green writing maybe, or yellow, that your window, and it told the description of what it was, is permanently activated, successfully activated. So that lets you know that it's there. And then, of course, you would just exit out of them, and you should be licensed. In other words, when you go back to about it, go down the product key. If it's still got, like, I think, yellow writing saying it isn't, well, that's a good indicator that it's not. But you do this, it's got the activated check mark, you good to go. That's a look at my daily driver here, Windows 11 IoT Enterprise LTSC. Guys, have a good one and stay on the upside.